Like most of us, I was born decades after World War II. I don't know what it feels like to live in a nation at war. I haven't heard the scream of V2 bombs or picked through the rubble that had once been my home. But as your vicar, I have stood at gravesides and at the crematorium, helping families with their sad goodbyes. For each death, like every war fought, is a tragedy. Thankfully, most of us have not been at war, but we are now getting an unwelcome taste of wartime conditions, of restrictions on what we can do and what we can't do. Thankfully, despite the early lack of loo roll and the continuing shortage of flour, we haven't faced real rationing or conscription of our young men. We are, though, living with an unseen enemy, which is sadly proving equally deadly to some, young and old. It is our daily prayer at Christchurch that God would protect our wonderful health and social workers from the coronavirus. They are willingly working despite the dangers for our benefit. We also pray for the success of the medical researchers working to find the all-important vaccines. Today we are celebrating the 75th anniversary of VE Day. Perhaps like in our close, you're having a physically distanced street party and you're wearing red, white and blue. Well, we celebrate the freedoms won, remembering the huge sacrifices that so many made in the 1940s, some willingly, some unwillingly. The years of their young lives spent fighting to repel the enemy of Nazi fascism, so that they, and we in the future, might live in freedom. And so today we honour the many who gave their tomorrows for our todays. As we remember, we hear these traditional words: greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. These words were from Jesus, the Christ, who 1 billion or more people choose to worship as the Son of God. And the reason they're relevant is because he said that knowing that he himself was going to die as a sacrifice so that all who follow him would be free from the power of greed and conflict, able to live rich lives now and in the future in peace with God and neighbour. In the Second World War, it took a huge coalition of allied nations, shown here with the flags of the time, that together gradually defeated the Nazi military and have shown their ideology to be one of hate to other nations, which now seem rather petty in the face of the virus, and become a global coalition working to overcome the virus. We pray too that rich nations like ours provide it for poorer ones without the capability to manufacture it for themselves. We pray that we see a new normal of international cooperation to tackle the biggest threats that we face: the virus, climate change, and the growing inequality between rich and poor. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a very happy day celebrating the 75th anniversary of victory in Europe.